after all of that prep, well, here we go. Hi, I think I'm live now. Can you hear me? Hello. Is it really quiet? It's really quiet. My welcome, thanks for joining. Everything is chaos in here, so this is what I'm dealing with today. This is the rig, so I'm gonna fix the audio though because it's way too quiet. I was using this Zoom and the battery died right before we started. It's really too quiet, so I'm gonna go get a battery to fix it because it is far too quiet. And I think I'm out of USB power. That's what I'm gonna grab, a USB battery. Because, so everybody, if you turned your volume up, get ready to turn it back down because it's gonna get louder. And that is how we're gonna fix this. Yes. So, how is everybody doing? I see a bunch of comments in the chat. Lovely to see everybody here. We're gonna power this off of my phone battery. The little Zoom F3 eats up AA batteries. Okay, I see audio. So, turn your volume down because it's gonna get a lot louder when I switch microphones. Ready, 3, 2, 1. And we're back. There we go. Okay, that looks like a lot better. A lot better now. So, welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm back in town, but I have not been in here very long, so things are still torn up, and I'm still in my temporary setup. The gear in front of me today, I decided just to drop the ATEM Mini Extreme in here instead of the ATEM Mini Pro, which I had last time I was doing a temporary setup, because the Extreme has more inputs and more keyers, and I can do more stuff with it, and I thought that would be useful today. So I've got the Extreme on the PK1 stand with the new little iPad attachment, iPad Mini running the graphics. Actually, pretty much all the graphics are run off of here. So the countdown timer, the map, which I will explain the little keying issue in a minute. The map, the music is all part of that. And I've got some video clips queued up here to share as well, which I'll do in a second. There's a camera over there. It's this camera. It's not in my favorite spot, so we'll see if I actually end up using it. It's just there because the arm was there and I didn't want to replace the rig. So the main camera though is that one. Both of those are Lumix G7s. And I've got my light up here and the Godox SL150, nice and quiet light. And what else do I have? Oh, my computer, of course, is plugged in over HDMI going into here, and then this is the monitor is obviously the Extreme, which means if I ever want to see my second computer screen, which I'll probably do when I show you things on the screen, I can either see it tiny in front of me here or full screen it on here. So I've got that plugged into HDMI out 1 from the ATEM, that way I can use these buttons. And you may notice there's no Stream Deck here today because I don't have my Raspberry Pi turned on, so there is no companion, which means there's no macros, which means I'm doing everything by hand. So, should be an adventure. Anyway, let's get looking through the comments here, because I saw a couple of good questions at the beginning. Philip says, it's a good way to encourage audience participation. Start off talking with no audio and then ask if we can hear. Yes, exactly. The overhead mic is better than the Rode. I agree. This is the Audio Technica AT175. I think I linked it below. I'm pretty sure it's down there. I like this microphone a lot, and I realized that I don't need this now anymore. I realized that I should just get another one for the studio so I can use the dual mic setup upstairs for interviews. And oh, and then there was another question. You're using the Rode Wireless Go 2 instead of the DJI. Do you like it better? I'm using the Rode Wireless Go 2 because I was scrambling looking for a microphone in case my main one died, which I had a feeling it would, and it turns out it in fact did. Just wasn't expecting it to die so soon. This one is because I left the DJI at home because I wasn't planning on using a wireless mic today. And this one was already at the studio. I took the DJI mic with me on the last trip, and it was fantastic. It did such a good job. I used it for my live stream on Sunday, but I also used it during the week to record an interview. And that meant I was like in the hotel area, common space, recording an interview, and it was kind of loud there, and it did a pretty good job of like honing in on the voices. And you can still hear some background noise, but it wasn't that bad. So I like that a lot. But I left it at home because I wasn't planning on using it here. So here we are. Yes. Okay. Where does the Pi live when you use it with Stream Deck? Are there tutorials out there to set the Pi in Stream Deck and Companion up? You know who has the best tutorials still is John from Here to Record. I don't know if there's a particular video I would recommend at the moment. I'm just going to drop his channel in the chat. And, oh, weird. My YouTube chat in the other window was way behind. So I was like, why is everybody saying the audio is bad? Because it was scrolled up 10 minutes. But yeah, he's got very good tutorials on the setting up Stream Deck and Companion and all that. So I don't think I've actually ever made one. So I might have to fix that just so that I have a video on my channel about that. But yes, in the meantime, go visit John's channel. Is this set up because you are redoing your whole studio update? Yeah, so kind of. For basically since the beginning of the year, I've been wanting to reconfigure the angles for the videos that I shoot in here, and to not use just the gray wall anymore as the background. I haven't totally settled on which angles I want to use. I kind of like this one, kind of. I think it's a pretty good shot. So I mean, obviously needs some work still, but I think this is a good start. So I might try to do something like this. Unfortunately, this means that the camera's like, this desk is like in the middle of the room, which I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll see. So I've been wanting to do that for a while now, I guess since like the beginning of the year. Haven't set aside the time to actually do that properly, but then a couple things happened over the last couple weeks. The ATEM Mini, or the Constellation HD ATEMs were announced and released, but the 4ME isn't shipping yet. So I decided to get the 4ME, which is the huge one, and it is not yet arrived. In the meantime, I am borrowing a 2ME from DVE Store. So they sent me one on loan, which I'll send back once they send me the 4ME that I bought. And that meant it was like, okay, time to like redo the rack to rewire everything. And then at around the same time that I got that, Lily had a paid video shoot, like a contract that she was filming in here. We had a film crew in here and a couple of guests, and they wanted to use this corner to shoot in and like shoot against this wall. And that meant that I basically had to move everything out of the way. And this is where most of the gear was. So I did a clean out and moved everything out of the way, packed it all up, rolled up all the wires. And I was like, this is actually good timing because I will set it all back up, put it all back together with the new configuration with the 2ME, which will be close to what I'll end up with the 4ME. So I'm in the middle of that process. And then this month has been full of travel. I have been on the road a lot. So a lot of work travel just suddenly came back. It's like everything that I agreed to back in January when I wasn't sure how much travel was going to be possible, everything ended up coming through, like lining up. So yeah, that's what's going on. So at some point when I've actually got some like multiple weeks in a row at the studio, I'm going to be trying to figure out where everything goes permanently and set it all back up. That's where we're at. Jonathan says, with the Pi be nearby and you plug in the Stream Deck into it, what screen would you use to configure the Pi? So normally when I do this with the Raspberry Pi and Companion, I don't have a screen plugged into the Raspberry Pi. And I do the install of the software plugged into some random screen, like my computer screen or just another monitor or whatever. Do that install, get it running, unplug the screen, and never plug in a screen again. And it just lives in the rack or on the desk somewhere. And the cord for the Stream Deck is a decent length, but then I actually also got like a 20-foot USB extender in case I want to run it really far. And that is that's mainly how I use it. So I don't use it with the screen. There is, there's a shortage of Raspberry Pis. It is true. It's true. Thankfully I have more than enough here now. So I bought several when they were available like 2 years ago, and I am set. But yeah, if you're looking for one right now, it's a little bit tough to find. Philip says, set your desk on a slowly rotating turntable so the background always changes during the live stream. That would be hilarious. That'd be really funny. Oh, good idea. We need a PK Pi stand for the Stream Deck XL to house the Pi 4. I know, I've totally been thinking about that, making basically a replacement for the back chunk that the Stream Deck sits on, because that's just like a thing that attaches that could actually hold a Raspberry Pi in it, which would be pretty cool. And oh, some other good ideas here. A Pi with a PoE hat, that would be very cool. And PoE hat powering the Pi, and then that powers the Stream Deck. So then you have just one wire running to it, which would be very cool. There is actually room in, I don't know if I can show this very well, but maybe I'll show it on this one. On the Extreme, there's more room, but on this one, there's kind of room to attach a Pi here. It will stick out a little bit on the small one, but it'll fit better on the Extreme. But you could attach a Pi under here at least, which is kind of cool. You can put the little nuts in the rail, and that way you can attach things to it. I run the Pi attached to the Stream Deck XL with a short USB and power over Ethernet. Oh, sweet, cool, yeah. I think it's a great idea. Yeah. All right, let me scroll back through because there were some other comments from earlier about we were getting started. When we were getting started, yeah, the Mercator maps are wildly distorted. The map is the Mercator projection serves a very particular purpose, and it turns out a zoomed out shot of the entire globe is not what it's designed for, so it does not accurately represent things when it looks like that. Yes, there is a Luma key problem, the black text on the map. So the reason that happens is because the way that I'm running the graphics right now. So I'm running the graphics through the iPad. So there's the LiveApp, which I believe I linked below, iPad app, and there's this overlay tab where I've got my web page loaded in. And the web page is where that graphic shows up. And normally when I'm doing this on the computer with with OBS running the web page going into the deck link with the key fill graphics, it means I get 2 channels for the graphics here. One is the alpha channel, one is the color. And then I get a proper key. And that way the text, oh, I'm not doing a Luma key, so the black is solid because I'm not reusing it as a Luma key. And that works great, but obviously I don't have that running right now because all that gear is in the rack that's powered down. So instead I'm running from one channel, and it's not like the fault of the LiveApp app. It's just inherent in using only one channel for that overlay because this is the same place that the comments appear. So when I show a comment on the screen, you'll see it pop up here. This is the iPad's HDMI out running from here. And this is doing a Luma key on the upstream key number one on the Extreme. And if what I could have done for the beginning was actually cut to the iPad, since it does have, since it covers the whole screen, I could have done this. Oops. You get the video now because it auto-played. Oops, let's get rid of the music. Not what I meant to do. I forgot that it's auto-plays when I do that. So I could have cut to that. Oh, although I would have had that problem with the autoplay video. So I would have to turn off autoplay on this and then turn off autoplay on the video queue tab, cut to that during the countdown, and then cut back myself. And that would have been the solution. But I didn't think it was that bad, so I just left it. And yes, that's the deal. Oh, and they're here in the chat. As soon as Apple supports 2 monitors for the iPad, we will do Luma mask support. Yes, awesome. I seriously doubt they would ever do that, but that would be amazing, and I would love it. That would be fantastic. What gen iPad is that? And what iPad is cheap and best for MixEffect and LiveApp? This is the newest iPad Mini. So it's, let me see if I can do this right on the, you know what, actually what I want to do is I want that up there. I don't need all of that. Let me reconfigure my multi-view for that. Oh, and I just realized I don't have the streaming status on the screen anywhere. So we're gonna reconfigure the multi-view here. We're gonna go take 8 for the streaming status, and then we're gonna take over that for the computer. And now I can kind of see my computer. And do I have any, picture in pictures? At least I have multiple upstream keys now. So we're gonna go and take upstream key 2, give it, oh, that's for my face. Let's see, what's this 3 look like? There we go. So the iPad Mini is what this is, and it's a reasonable price, I feel like. Well, what is the price? Wi-Fi only. Okay, it's not terribly cheap. $650 is a chunk of change. But this is also my main iPad that I use for like taking with me everywhere. It does run on older iPads for sure, and the previous gen iPad Air is a pretty good option too. I'm sure they're now telling me in the chat what's the best one, which is great. How do I roll this back? Let's go see if they had any recommendations. Yes, here we go. Every iPad running the latest iPad OS will work. Some newer models have hardware HEVC support though. Oh, cool. I didn't realize that. I think what I would do is find, yeah, as long as you're running the latest OS, then you're good. Don't get one that's so old that you can't update it, but luckily Apple does support the OSs to pretty old gen hardware, which is nice. Yeah, I have some of the couple years old now iPads, which I normally have actually set up here, and I'm probably going to leave one of them permanently installed instead of taking my Mini with me, which is actually one that I like take in and out. And I do have some iPads here for using in the studio for these apps, but they're also in a box somewhere, so they're not out today. Now we're moving into the handmade section of the show, exactly. That's a good question. Does this one support HEVC? You know, I've never actually looked if the new iPad Mini does. That is interesting. I wonder if we can find it in the, oh, I really wish I had a, oh, you know what? We've got macro buttons on this. I forgot that was one of the things I asked Blackmagic to add, and now there are buttons, and I literally have never used them because I started using Companion instead. But hey, maybe I can actually use these. Let's try this. Let's go make a macro in slot 1. Do I need this one that's in here already? Probably not. Let's just overwrite it. This one is going to yeah, actually that's what I want. I want to use the super source since I have a super source on this thing. I totally forgot about that. Wow. So this one I'm going to make it be a super source macros take a while. I really should have been running you know what I should just do is I should just use MixEffect because that is frankly a lot easier. So we're going to do that. I have to have LiveApp on this side so that it takes the HDMI. And then here we can go to super source. And box 1 is main. You know, I really would like super source on this too. So I'm going to take over slot 7 for super source. That way I can see it. Okay. Box 2 is the computer. There we go. Look at that. Now I can just cut to it. Much better. The tech specs. Let's see if we can find any support for HEVC. Video formats recorded. Cool. Video playback supports HEVC. Doesn't specifically say whether it's a hardware support for it, but I would assume it is if it's telling me it can record and play back. So yeah. When there's no Stream Deck, go MixEffect. Exactly. That was much more pleasant than macros, frankly. So that was nice. Yes. Oh, Emerald Audiovisual says, I'm using an iPad Mini 5th gen, and that can be got for decent enough money, works well. Cool, yeah, I think that's the one that I normally have in here, actually, which I just forgot to get it out of the box before the show. Okay, there were some other questions that I wanted to get to. Oh, this is a good one. I don't know the answer. What is the name of the rail system in the Mother Bee video? I unfortunately don't actually remember the name of that, and I haven't done research yet to actually find it. But hey, if Mother Bee is watching, although it's like 4 a.m. there or something, it's probably not. But if she is watching, maybe she can comment later what it's called. Because I'm still on the fence about actually installing it in my studio here, because the ceilings are a lot taller in here compared to her studio, and it worked well there because it's just like a short hop up on a step stool. We'll see. We'll see. Definitely useful. I'm just looking up at the ceiling right now. And then, oh, this is a good one. For your Chrome extension, is there a way to change the size of the YouTube chat font? Kind of. It's not super straightforward, unfortunately. Let me show you how it works. If you go to the settings, let me make sure I'm not going to, extensions. Is there anything in there that I don't? Okay. If you go into the settings and then you go into the live chat overlay, it'll look something like this. I'll make this a little bigger. And there are settings in here somewhere. Extension options. No. Yeah, that should have worked. Why isn't that working? Maybe it's because this is not turned on. That's why. I think I have a different one, a different copy installed. Yeah, this is the real one. That was my dev copy. This one's turned on. Extension options. In here, there's a bunch of like options that you get. I'm sorry it's not easier to use, but you can change not the font size, but this. So if you change this to like 1.8 Oh yeah, also there's a weird bug in Chrome where the cursors don't let you type the right direction. Sometimes it adds text on the wrong side of the letter, which is weird. If you go to like 1.2, it'll like scale everything up. And try that, messing with that. It's a little bit finicky, sorry. But that's the option you get. And colors and everything. And these are the highlight words, which only kind of working right now. I should probably do a little bit of work on this. It's a little bit out of date. But Steve's chat.overlay.ninja, no, he renamed it. What did he call it? The social stream.ninja, that's the name. He's done a lot of work on this one, and it supports a lot more things now, which is cool. Like, I don't even understand what text-to-speech support means. Does it read out the comments? Interesting. So he's got a lot more options, and probably at this point, I would just recommend using his because he supports a lot more platforms and a lot more configuration. I should drop that link in the chat so I don't forget. Socialstream.ninja. Yeah. Good questions. You should make a phone stand, as I don't have a proper Stream Deck. I use my iPhone as my Stream Deck, and it can be called PK Mobile. Oh, you use an iPhone like as the virtual for the virtual buttons on the Stream Deck emulator, or yeah, that's what it's called in Companion. That's a cool idea. Well, actually the iPad stand here should hold a phone as well, because this is not in a case though, because it needs to be. Yeah, my phone is. It should fit that just fine. Let's see. If I take it out of my case, it's about the same size as the iPad, so let's move that down there. And oh no, it's fatter than my iPad. Okay, I guess not. I didn't realize that the iPhone is fatter than the iPad. Well, maybe we will make one then. Put that back. There we go. Oh, the Stream Deck app. Okay, so does that work with Companion? I'd have never even thought about that. That's interesting. Oh, Nils says, the name of the rail system is Skytrack Studio. It's made by Manfrotto, but you could buy a clone on AliExpress. Thank you for that. Oh yeah, the autopoles are a good idea too. Or Varipoles. Yes, it does work with Companion. That's very cool. I didn't really think about combining those two together. Good tip. I like it. Oh, here's one from earlier. Suggestion, the timer should start before the time for the live. Yes, normally it does. Normally I am not late to my own show. Today I was, but I said that at the beginning of the stream in the chat, just because I was running late. Because I was actually fun. Let's see. I think I have a video. Oh, it's on the other. I can't show it on. Let me just add it. I should be able to do that. Add it from the photo library. I'm just going to do this here. This one isn't edited because I literally just shot it like a minute ago, right before the stream. There is a new bridge in Portland that just opened this morning, and the bridge is it's a pedestrian and cycling bridge that crosses the highway at 7th, which has always been a tricky place to get across the highway because there's like you have to go pretty far in either direction in order to cross otherwise. I'm going to just pull up a map so I can show you where it is. The If you don't cross at 7th, you have to either cross at like 12th or MLK, but that's a terrible street to ride a bike or walk on. This is really long distance and it's not friendly. It's a huge highway. So pretty much your only option is 12th or way down there. So there's a new crossing at 7th and it's already on Google Maps somehow. And it just opened up today. So they had a whole like celebration party starting at 8 a.m. with coffee and donuts for people. And Lily went out to help serve stuff on the bridge there and work that. And on my way over here, I stopped by and I just wanted to get some video for her so she can use it on their socials. And then I was like, I got the drone with me. I wonder if I can fly somewhere there. And it is inside the Portland Airport's Class C airspace, but you can get authorization up to 400 feet there because it's pretty far away. It's like towards the outer edge of the airspace. And so I knew I could do that. I knew I could get authorization for it, but I needed to see if there was anywhere I could fly that wasn't over people or over cars. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to fly like over the bridge because it was really busy there that morning. And the highway's right there too. But I did find a parking lot right nearby, a parking garage, and parked my bike like on the street there because they had blocked off all the streets anyway. And all I did was I just went straight up and straight down. And this is the 10 seconds that I got of oh yeah, I went also like 10 feet backwards. And this is like the 10-second clip I got, but you can see the little setup there with coffee and everything. And this one I think is one going down. But you can kind of tell where I was. Oh, I was trying to go around. So this is where I was like going over the parking garage, which was completely empty also. So I was able to stay far enough away from anybody to not worry about that, which was nice. But yeah, that's the new bridge opening in Portland. Time to redesign the iPad mount. No, I don't want the gap to be big enough for a phone because then the iPad would wobble in it. So it's already pretty tight. We had to do a little bit of tolerances to allow multiple iPad models to fit. So it's already not like the exact thickness of, just the iPad mini, but it does fit a bunch of the iPads that way. But if I made it so wide for a phone, then when you put a small iPad, it would be like tippy, which is not good. Oh, the DJI Mini 2 does not support Active Track. Will you buy a Mini 3? Mini 3 looks very cool and does support Active Track and because it actually has the sensors for all the way around obstacle avoidance. The Mini 2 only has sensors for vertical, so it knows how far off the ground you are. But the Mini 3 does. So here's what I'm going to say about this. I learned a lot of things about drones this week at the IETF meeting in Philadelphia. So that meeting is a meeting for the standards work that I do around OAuth. I'm in the OAuth working group and SCIM as well. And there's a whole bunch of other groups there that cover quite a lot of range of technologies. So DNS, HTTP, TLS, like all that invisible internet layer stuff happens there. One of the relatively new groups there is called DRIP, which is an abbreviation for Drone Remote ID Protocol. They are working on the protocol that drones will use to report their position while they're flying. Every drone that is flying under, not under the recreational exception is going to have to use remote ID. And the problem is remote ID doesn't exist yet. So the FAA has a rule that says starting in September, this September, manufacturers have to include remote ID in any new drones they're building. And starting in September next year, every drone flying that's not flying for recreational exemption, under the recreational exemption, will have to be broadcasting remote ID. The problem is it does not exist. It is the final spec for it was just published like a week ago by ASTM, big standards organization that normally works in materials. They're the ones that like define screw thread sizes and stuff. The thing that they define is like mostly complete, but missing a bunch of features and missing a bunch of important security things. So essentially everything's a giant mess. And it is only possible as of about 2 weeks ago for a manufacturer to even begin to, consider putting remote ID into their drones, much less like actually doing it in a practical way. So basically what it means is that this is the worst possible time to buy a drone, because if you buy a drone right now, you are crossing your fingers that they're going to be able to ship remote ID and a firmware update later. Otherwise, you won't be able to fly it after September. So I'm not going to buy a Mini 3 right now because I don't think I am going to benefit from the additional features it has for the next 12 months. And I'm optimistic, but not 100%, not sure enough that they're going to be able to update it to include remote ID later. They probably will. They've known it's coming for a while, but not 100% confident there. So that's why I'm not bothering to upgrade yet. So we'll see what happens in September once manufacturers have to include it. So that was actually one of the interviews I did at the event. I filmed an interview with two of the people who are working on that protocol there, and had a really good conversation. I am turning that into a video. I'm in the middle of editing it. I'm probably going to film the rest of it today after this live stream, and really excited about it actually. So I think you'll enjoy it. So keep an eye out for that, and yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Mini 3 does not have side sensors. Oh yeah, okay, cool. It has obstacle avoidance sensors, but it's obviously small, not like the huge ones. Very interesting drone situation. It will be the same in Europe, I guess. I don't remember the timelines for the European regulations, but they're doing something similar where they are also requiring remote ID. I'm not as tied into the specifics of what they're doing. I'm going to have to look it up at some point. But that's the deal in the US anyway. Hopefully remote ID will just be a software firmware update and not require a special chip radio of any kind. So the plan is that very intentionally, what the FAA wanted was to be able to receive the remote ID broadcasts using commodity hardware, which means smartphones. So they specifically require that the broadcasts are sent over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And that is so that you can use a smartphone to receive the broadcast. So I'm pretty sure the drones, pretty much every drone that you would care about already has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in it. So the Mini 2 doesn't use Wi-Fi for the video link anymore. They changed it to their fancy one, but it still has the hardware, and I'm pretty sure. If it doesn't, then that's a big reason to not buy it, because they won't be able to add it. So I guess look for that. Like if it's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth in the drone already, then they can probably ship a firmware update for it. Obviously, no guarantees. But if they don't have that hardware in it, it's going to be very difficult to ship remote ID. One of the plans for the bigger drones is to be able to add remote ID onto it with a module. So you'll be able to buy a little puck that you would actually physically attach to the drone, and that will be doing the broadcasting for you. Because obviously, if you bought a $20,000 drone last year, it would really not be nice if you couldn't fly it anymore. So that's the plan, to be able to retrofit those. But you're not going to go stick a puck on DJI Mini 2 or Mini 3. Technically you could, but like that seems silly. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of months. Video Pepper says OcuSync is still Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have to dig into the protocol because I'm curious what they actually did with it. I don't remember if it's, I think it's using the Wi-Fi frequencies, but I don't think it's literally a Wi-Fi protocol, if that makes sense. But I will dig into that because I'm curious. And yeah. Do I use before you fly notification system? I use the app called, what is it called? It's called Aloft. It's the one that got renamed from Kitty Hawk, I think is the old name of it. Aloft is what it's called. And let me share this screenshot so that I can show you what it looks like and show you how I got the authorization for this morning in. Is my AirDrop not working today? Oh. My Wi-Fi on my computer just dropped. Super cool. It's back now, which is nice. So that's cool. Speaking of how I live stream, good thing my computer wasn't running the live stream because it just decided to disconnect from Wi-Fi. So this is, yeah. This is what the app looks like. And that is where the bridge was. So that'll tell you where it is and tell you what airspace it's in. And that little 400 means you can request authorization up to 400 feet. Notice up here, there's a 0. So in that grid, you cannot request authorization at all. I still don't actually understand why there's a 0 there, because there isn't, like, there's a heliport here, but there's also one here, and there's one here, and the stadium is down here. So I don't really understand why there's a 0 there. I'm trying to figure that out. Normally at the edge of the Class C airspace, it'll let you fly up to 400 feet, which is the highest a drone can fly anyway. And yeah, so in here you can go and request an authorization, submit it through the LANC system, LAANC, and then you will get a notice, a text that says your request has been approved. You can fly for 2 hours or whatever. So that's the deal. Yeah, I think before you fly also supports LANC, but LANC, LAANC, is the system that you need to look for. I have a Mavic 3, so I'm definitely interested to see how remote ID is going to be implemented. Me too. Like I said, this is not like, it's new, but it's also not. The original rule was announced, then they made a bunch of changes to it, and those changes only got approved and implemented in the last couple of months. And then the final spec was only finalized this month. So it's like all the manufacturers have known this is coming, and they've known that it has to be Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for a while. So at the very least, they can have known to put the hardware in it to be able to support it later. The DJI drones already broadcast an ID, it's just encrypted. So, okay, remote ID is fascinating because of, I should not get into this right now. I really should not. But I learned a lot about the bare minimum that the FAA requires is actually pretty terrible. That spec only says that it needs to include a identifier, the position of the drone, and the position of the control station, like the controller. They don't describe what the identifier is. So it's, for example, very possible that a manufacturer could ship remote ID in their drones in a way that broadcasts the drone's serial number as the identifier. That has a lot of problems. We don't want the drones to be able to be, like, you don't want to, privacy is a big concern here, right? So like, it would be bad if your drone was like, this is me here, and then it pops up somewhere else, and it's like, I am the same drone, and then it pops up in another state, and it's like, I'm the same drone, and now you can follow the one drone around the country. That's not great. So using a serial number for that is not a good idea. But there's nothing preventing a manufacturer from shipping remote ID with that in place to comply with the rule. We'll see how it plays out. That, again, could change, but that is technically what it allows right now. What Drip is doing is they're trying to be more specific than that and actually make up a way for these identifiers to not be trackable between flights, to not identify the operator, to actually, put all those checks in place so that only people who need to know who you are, what is your registration number, like the FAA, when they want to look it up, they can find it, but you can't just get someone's name from your phone when they're flying around. So all drones transmit their GPS location to the controller, which will then retransmit the remote ID along with GPS coordinates via the mobile phone connection. So that is the opposite of how remote ID has to work. Remote ID has to work the other way around. Remote ID specifically has to be broadcast by the drone itself, not by the controller. So it's actually going to be the opposite, where the drone or the controller reports its position to the drone so that the drone can broadcast the complete information. And that is the system that's being described. If this is what's happening right now, that's great, but that's not relevant to remote ID in the future. It has to go the other way around. We've got time until January 1st, 2024, a little bit of time. For the drones would be the CX, is that the category markings? Yeah, you get the specific category flight if you got to fly under 150 meters from random people, unless it's a bigger drone. Yeah, the category system in the EU makes a lot of sense. I think they did a pretty good job with that. So, but yeah, it's been a while since I've looked up the details of that, especially relating to remote ID. The DJI Mini 7, which comes out March 2028, will be great. Totally. Why don't you use Ecamm Live, as you can put chat on the screen without a plugin? Couple reasons. I don't trust my computer to do the stream, to run the stream, which, as you may have noticed from a second ago, it's good that I didn't, because the computer just lost its Wi-Fi connection randomly. But two, I actually don't really like the way the Ecamm comments look, but that's just me. I like the way that this one looks, and I do a lot more than just the comments with the graphics on here. So like the whole map, the countdown timer, that's all running in the same web page that the comments are shown in. So I maybe be able to string something together with Ecamm Live at that point, but it's not really ideal. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of computer-based streaming. What is the best drone under $4,000? I have no idea, honestly. The only drone I've flown at this point is a DJI Mini 2, and I got it because it's the cheapest drone that has a good camera. And also, like, so automated. Everything is just super easy to use. Also, because it was the first drone I got, I don't want to crash a $4,000 drone or a $2,000 drone. I would rather crash a $450 drone. So far I haven't crashed. Cross your fingers, but that's the reason that I got the cheapest one, because I didn't want to start off with a really expensive one. David is reminding people, if your like button is transparent, please click it to make it solid. Thank you. Yes, please do. Okay. So a lot of good questions here, but I had a couple things I want to mention too. Let me pull up my show notes, which I think I actually made some show notes today. Wow, it's the last day of the month. Chris is saying, FYI, the Mini 3 Pro does support Wi-Fi. Right now it uses it to do quick transfers. It also mentions it in the specs. Fantastic. I'm not surprised, because they definitely knew remote ID was going to be coming when they shipped that. So that is great. Here's a good drone recommendation. Mavic 3 Pro Cine, under $4,000. DJI stuff is just really good. Yeah, we talked about drip. Oh, I wanted to share, and I need to go dig up this photo. I wanted to share some photos. Where did it go? Photos of some fun new things we are working on in the PK1 world. There we go. And we are going to be doing some new color options as a special edition stands for this through the rest of the year. So let me pull up the photo on my other screen here. Doing very low tech sharing today. So fun new photos for the stands. But I would love to know, oh no, I have to sneeze. Okay. I would love to know which options are most interesting to you, because I don't think we're going to do all 6 of these colors. We're going to do probably just 3 or 4 options. So I want to know what colors you are excited about. I should have a, where did I put it? I made a little poll. Put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to also try to do a poll here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. You should be able to go visit this link, and there should be a poll on it. And then we're going to, yeah, and I can put it on the screen too. Okay. So we're going to do a little poll and see what people's favorite colors are. So join that link. This is John's cloud, H2R cloud graphics thing. And scan the code, enter the code. Oh, cool, people are already voting. Okay, and then I can grab the overlay for this. How do I do this? Add a browser source. And while you're working on that, I'm going to try to get the poll loaded up here. Aha, look at that. Oh, covers everything up. Here it goes. People are responding. Lovely. I don't know how to make it smaller. I can't really make it smaller. Let's see, make sure I get the sliver of the colors up there. So the one in the full stand is the teal, and then hopefully you can tell the other ones. Why don't I just do this? This one on the right is obviously Tech Condo purple. The one here is Tombuck blue. I just sent him this one last week. This is the red that we've used for the YoloBox cages, so that's the same color there. And we've also got this olive and then this muted blue. So Tech Condo purple, Tombuck blue are almost definitely already settled. Like those are a done deal. Oh, we're doing the Lumix QR code thing again, and I can't cut to it without triggering autoplay. I'll just put that back. And then we've got the red. Olive is not doing very well right now. Not to like skew the results, but I'm pretty sure my personal favorite is the teal, which is probably not surprising if you look around the room here. I think that's my personal favorite, so that might have to just win anyway. But yeah, we're basically looking for which two of these four to include, because these are already settled. Got a lot of interest in the Tech Condo purple, and Mother Bee is going to get that one too. Oh, Muted Blue is doing a lot better than I expected. Interesting. Okay, that's good to know. Very good to know. And oh, I should probably take a look at the chat. No polka dot option. No, no, no polka dot option. There we go. We have a very official vote for red. What am I using to find and look up your show notes? I use Notion for everything. Okay, so hopefully you got the color names. Teal is this one. Tech Condo purple, Tom Buck blue. If you don't know their channels, you should go find their channels, and then you'll see why these are named after them. Red, olive, muted blue. If I had to choose, teal is the way to go. Come on, vote. Okay, how are we doing with the votes? Let's bring it back. 42 responses, not bad. All right. Muted blue is doing a lot better. That was one of my least favorite ones. Wow. Just goes to show that my taste in color is definitely not the same as everybody else's. No Black Magic Orange. Orange is in fact too bright. It is a little bit much. If you've ever seen the Prusa printers, that's they're a lot. It's really a lot. Sorry, I can't give you options to choose multiple. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for the votes. Very, very interesting results. And NX3D can take a screenshot of this for our records. All right, thanks. That was fun. I'll put that away now. Polling works. Muted blue for the win. Teal is good as well, but olive is the worst color in the world. Yes, you did tell me, in fact. Randy says, why did you stick to PK1 for the names of all your stands and not go to PK2, PK3 for the different models? Was definitely thinking about it. I think the main reason is, honestly, the main reason is just like trademark, frankly, because it's not that hard to file a trademark, but it is a little bit of work. And then I didn't want to have to do that for each product name. So instead, the trademark that I registered is PK1 in the category of, I forget the exact words I used. You can go look it up if you really want to. But it's for like stands and things for video production. So that way I can use that name and apply it to a bunch of different products all under that same brand. I also thought it would be better brand as just like, that's the website, that's the name of the category of products, and then we have the specific product names for the the individual bits and pieces. So we've got the ATEM Mini Extreme category, the PK1 Pro Streamer AX, Pro Streamer AM for the Mini, and then the different YoloBox ones, the stand and the cage, and that's the reason. That's the reason. Personally, PK1 by itself is a pretty good brand name, short and identifiable. Thanks. Yep. That is the deal. The other interesting, so Googleability, how unique is the name you've chosen on Google is, of course, an interesting problem. And when I went and searched for PK1, the only other category of results that I found was this chair, PK1 chair, which I guess it's like a stand for a person, but it's not really a stand for video gear. So I thought it was separate enough that I wasn't going to worry about certainly the product confusion, but but I figured there was, like, since that was really the only thing that was popping up. Oh, and also this park one was showing up when you search for PK. I don't know why it's expanding to park. But I figured it would not be that hard to take over the search results for PK1, which sure enough has in fact worked. So I think shopping now is mostly the stand and very little of the chair, which is great. Oh, apparently there's also boots. But yeah, it worked. Also be extended into PK1 snacks, PK1 perfume and cologne, and PK1 bridge photography. Yeah. I do, in fact, need a table showing the different models now. We've got so many different ones now. Trying to keep it somewhat straightforward, though. So, like, I've tried to keep this website to be the best authority on the category of products. I know searching the different stores can be a bit of a challenge just because of how they're laid out. But if you're looking for an ATEM Mini Extreme stand, you'll find it here. We only have the one. We don't have a cage. Same with the ATEM Mini. There's still the 2 for the ATEM Mini. And the YoloBox, there's a stand and cage model. And then for the different YoloBoxes as well, still working on the Mini, but we're very close on that. And then, yeah, that's the deal. So yeah, okay, cool. That was that's our plan for the new colors. We're gonna work on some. It's gonna be a limited run, so only available for probably starting in a month or so. Then we'll actually announce it and have that all available, and then only for a couple of months. So keep an eye out for that. How is the iPad coming into the ATEM Mini Extreme? Just over HDMI. So I've got it on this, which I need to add this to the website, but this is the little iPad support that goes onto the rail. And then this is, you can't really see it, but it's the Apple HDMI dongle. So I'm also charging it because it was down to 50%. But this is the Apple dongle with a charging cord connected and a short HDMI plugged into here, input 4. So that's about as simple as it gets, really. I like these little short cables because then it ends up not being a super disaster of a mess of cables back here. Despite what it looks like, I have zero cable management because this is a temporary setup. Don't say anything. It's fine. A glitter option for Christmas. I don't know if we have any glitter filament in the right type of material because we're not using the super cheap PLA that you can get. So there's only certain colors we can get. I don't think we have any glitter options in that material. Oh, if the stand has the 1/4-inch holes, you can mount normal phone mounts with the Mini Magic Arm. Yeah, there's definitely other ways you can get a phone onto the stand, just not with the iPad one that I thought it would fit into. But because it's got this rail up here, let me get rid of that. That's just sitting on it. That's not doing anything anymore. Because it's got the rail up here, you can put these little slide-in nuts into it, and this gives you, it's not a 1/4-inch, but it gives you something you can attach things onto that. So this is like we have the little cold shoe adapter, or you could attach other brands of things into it, like small rig plates fit well into that. So you can use, it's the same size screw that goes like into the small rig plate. So you can put a small rig plate on here that gives you 1/4 inch screws to be able to attach whatever you want onto it. Do I resize the iPad for the ATEM? I'm not sure what you mean. The app that I'm using, the LiveApp, it's not mirroring the screen. It takes over the HDMI out and then it puts it onto the screen. So if I show you the comment, you'll see it on the multi-view, but it is outputting the 16:9 because it knows it's going HDMI out. It's not just like a mirror of the HDMI. M5 and M4 are the size of the screws and the nuts that fit into this. So you can get M5 and M4 T-nuts that slip in. I like the ones that you have to actually put in before the stand's put together. That way they can't come out, but you can also get drop-in ones that are easier to do for temporary things. But these ones I like because they're bigger. And then you get the M5 or M4 screws for it, and then you can attach all sorts of things. This is a temporary setup, should be a piece of wall art for you. Followed by, I changed a few things right before the stream today. Fair enough. Yes. And yes, Pat reminds us, very good point. That is standard 2020 aluminum extrusion, lots and lots of options for stuff to mount to that. It's true. That was the reason we went with that, was because we wanted it to just be something standard that you can find all sorts of things to put into. And then, you know, we're making the custom stuff for like the iPad on it, but you can bolt all sorts of things to that. So that's the reason for that nice rail. And it's on the small one too. So the ATEM Mini Pro small one, which also should fit the SDI versions of these because it's the same case, and the YoloBox, they all have the 2020 rail. I need to oil my chair. Black glitter only. Oh, maybe we will then. David asks, have you ever encountered YouTube giving a warning message that is not receiving enough data when streaming from the ATEM Mini Extreme? I sure have. In fact, it looks like, although not today, it looks like I have not received any warnings in the YouTube studio, but sometimes I do. And you know what? Most of the time, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to actually have any significant impact on the stream. The data rate has been hovering around 5. Now that I'm seeing it on the screen here, it's been hovering around 5 the whole time. If I switch over to like a static shot of the computer, it'll drop down, and I'll let it drop for a second and then show you. Okay, so you should now, when I cut back, you should see for a couple of seconds. Yeah, here we go. It's dropped down to 0.6 megabits a second. And let's see if YouTube gives me a warning. Not yet. It still thinks it's okay. But okay, I'm gonna cut back to my side view, and you should see it here. So check it out, 0.6. Now it's going to go back up as it is encoding this message. That's when I see it. When I see YouTube complain sometimes, although it isn't complaining right now, and it just doesn't matter. It turns out it will work fine. I've never had any actual problems. I've been getting that error 30 minutes into my live stream, so I've taken to the Pro, sending to the primary, and Extreme to the secondary. Interesting. Is that when you're on a normal video shot, it's changing? Because that shouldn't happen. But it does do adaptive bitrate streaming, so that if you're showing an image that doesn't change very much, it'll use less bandwidth to encode it. And then YouTube is like freaking out that you're not sending enough data, even though it doesn't need to because the image isn't changing. But it doesn't ever actually cause any problems. Uh-oh. I muted just in time. Oh my gosh. Yes, YouTube does seem to be confused by variable bitrate encoding. Getting the error on a regular camera shot. Okay, that sounds wrong. Because normally if I'm streaming a camera shot, even if the frame isn't changing, there's enough noise that it does take a bit of bandwidth. So that sounds very weird. And that might be a Blackmagic support issue. Oh, here's a good question. I'm planning on a live show with 3 hosts, 2 remote guests, and a screen capture. Is it possible to show all 6 of these at the same time with SuperSource and DVE? I think so. We can try it. We can try it here. So what you want to do is, let's see, how am I going to do this in a way that I can show you what's going on? Let's put this on the top screen so that you can see it when I share that, and then we're going to do everything in the software. Okay, so the SuperSource, let's start here. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it with this setup. So SuperSource has 4 boxes and a background layer. So the background layer is just this color. Technically, it can be a video source. So like, I don't think that's going to help you here. I think you want it to just be a color still. But you get 4 boxes. I only have 2 turned on right now, the computer and this. So let's turn on box 3. And let's make it the side camera. And then let's scale it way down and put it over here. I should probably be using MixEffect for this, frankly. Oh, where did it go? Come back. I lost it. Oh my gosh. Okay, go to the center. And we're going to scoot it until I see it in the gap there. Now we're going to go down. There we go. Okay. It was way too far down. So we can do that. Then we can take box 4, enable it, and grab the... Oh, the other camera just died. Good timing. Please check video source, whatever. We'll just put that in the corner. We don't need to see anything here. Position, go up. The reason I'm not using MixEffect is that way you can actually see what I'm doing, because on MixEffect you won't be able to see the iPad screen. Okay, so now we've got 4, and you wanted what? You wanted 3 hosts. So imagine these 3 other hosts. I mean, now we've got the screen capture from the computer, and now we need the 2 remote guests. So to do that, we're going to have to use the upstream key. And this is where I can't remember if we actually can or not. I think we can. So upstream key, we're going to use DVE. I don't have any more video sources, but I'll just put myself in a little box again. And let's use upstream 3. So that, I think this is going to work. And notice that it's on top of the SuperSource layer. And then upstream 4 will also be DVE, and we can put my other side camera, and it's scaled down. It'll be somewhere on the screen. Let's find out. There it is. And sure enough, and then you can put that up here. So now we've got, obviously probably do a better job with the layout, but the 2 on the right would be, I can't point anywhere. The 2 on the right would be the remote guests in your upstream keys, and then SuperSource you can use for the computer and the 3 hosts. It may make sense. Actually, that probably is the right way to do it, because that means if your remote guests drop out for some reason, you can always just turn them off, right? So that way you can just disappear them. And then your hosts and your computer layout would be the fixed layout. So that totally works. And I think that's the limit. So we've got, that's what it is. If you're using DVE, you can only use 2 DVEs in the upstream keys, because the upstream key 1 is actually now, it's on, but it's a Luma key. Upstream key 2 is set to DVE right now, and I can't turn it on because there's only 2 DVEs that I can use. If I change it to pattern, does work. Not quite sure why that doesn't use the DVE, because it is still scaling it. But whatever, that's the limit. So yeah, there's enough in there to do what you want it to do. Notice that it won't even let me change it back to DVE now because it knows it doesn't have one available. If I turn that off, then it does have it available for the other upstream key. Weird little limit, but that's the deal. And let me turn these off as well. And now we're back to normal. So that was fun. Fun little demo. Have you ever used Pro Presenter for live streaming graphics setups? It has built-in alpha keying, but it takes up 2 inputs to make it happen. I have not used Pro Presenter itself, but I have used the key fill. That's how I normally do it, is with 2 inputs into the ATEM. And normally that's fine for me, but it's not all set up for that today. Wondering if it's a similar issue Doug had with the web presenter. Curtis has had that issue. Doug's problem was with a high-res data rate 4K stream using the 4K web presenter. Oh yeah, he had some weird problems with that. Patrick says, is there a browser app on iOS that outputs full screen on HDMI? I'm wondering if the next version of iOS will do that. I don't know about iOS, but LiveApp absolutely does that. So that's how this comment's coming in. So if you look at the, oops. I don't have another one of those batteries nearby. I lost that camera. Oh well. If you I have another camera. Just replace it with this. Because I think this one is still running. And I was using a wireless transmitter anyway. Oh, that one's down to 11%, but I do have more of those batteries here. Why am I so zoomed in? And new side angle. The the iPad here is running LiveApp, and that is a browser source loaded in here. I also put in the H2R cloud thing, and it outputs full screen HDMI. So if let me show that comment again. Where did it go? So you'll see it's here, right? That's a full screen browser source. Now, obviously I'm using it for overlays, but I could use it for anything. So like if I go, let's see, edit that, let me add a browser source, and I can just go to like PK1.tv, and there it is. It is doing LumaKey. It is doing LumaKey, which is not what I would want to do, but what it's ultimately doing is outputting it over HDMI to here. So if I turned off all of its auto things, then I could just, like if I turn off the autoplay, then if I go and do that, I can actually, where's my key setting? Okay, upstream key is off. And now if I cut, I don't actually know if I can, now that I think about it. I think it always wants to turn it back on for me. Keyer, aha, there we go. If I tell it no keyer, then now I'm using it just for the full screen output. So you can see I've got the output here. Now if I cut over, I'm just cutting to it like an angle. And if there is now dark bits, it's not LumaKeying because I'm just cutting to that angle. But you have to go and, let me see if I can actually show this better. It's a wireless camera. I can just pick it up. The way I did that was by, was by setting the overlay keyer to none instead of upstream key 1. And I forgot that I should actually be using the downstream key for this now that this feature exists here, which is probably more useful for the ATEM Mini Pro, since there's only one upstream, one downstream. But because with the Extreme, I get 4 upstream keyers, right? But still, very glad they added that. Pre-multiply key, no. And let's get rid of that and then put that question back on the screen and then adjust my key so that it works. Settings. Oh, where's the crop coming from? That must be coming from the ATEM. I don't see a setting on. Yeah, so if I go to the ATEM, there is a mask. And I don't see a mask setting on LiveApp, which they may need to change so that I can turn that off, because I don't want the mask. So now if I go, I can adjust the clip and the gain until it looks right. So that's too much, so I leave it there, and then the gain, oops, I don't want it to be like that, so I want to go until I don't see it darkening the picture. There we go. Now we're using downstream key for that, which is better. Live demo. Why is the camera doesn't look like it's in focus? What's going on? Oh, I think it's trying to focus on the reflection or something. That's what's going on. Yeah, oh well. 7% battery, that one's gonna die too. Well, that's fun. Live demo of LiveApp. Full screen website works on the current version. The additional key features are in the current beta. This will be added to the public version soon. Cool. Yeah, I should have mentioned that is the test flight beta that has those features for the keying. But that's the deal. Oh, good tip. You can press reset all to reset the mask. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Yes. What just happened? Something just got brighter or darker. Is my key wrong? Looks okay now. 2ME and 4ME could go beyond 6 guests and sources. Yes, that should be fun. Once I get that set up back up again, we'll play around with it. Did you build in a downstream key button on your Stream Deck to make up for the ATEM not having the button built in? Absolutely. I have so many buttons on the Stream Deck that do all sorts of things. I tend to take a different approach than David does with his. He has a profile he created for controlling an ATEM, and it's basically like a complete controller for the ATEM. So like you can use it in place of the computer software control and in place of MixEffect. Like it lets you do so much stuff. I take a completely different approach to it, which is I build specific pages that are super customized to my particular show. So I'll have like, I can't show it to you right now because I don't have it turned on, but I'll have like a main page for a show, which will have like start the pre-roll, cut to the, start the show, which sends a message to my web overlay, it cuts the camera, turns on the audio, all sorts of stuff like that. And cutting, creating different layouts in the super source, adjusting the super source, but doing it all at once, and then cutting to it live, and that kind of stuff. So like super customized, really not applicable to other people's shows at all, which is why I don't bother trying to publish that or share the actual source for that, because it just wouldn't be very helpful. Instead, I talk about it on the stream, usually by showing it, because usually it's turned on, but not today. But yeah, sometimes I also have a couple of those like backup buttons for, quick turn off the downstream key because something is wrong, and then I can have a quick access to it. Very, very useful for that. Oh, I just saw something scroll by. Without Companion, can you still bookmark that demo you just did? Not really, not really. Adam's exploits. Got here about 10 minutes ago. Scrub video for the Philly video. How did you enjoy Philly? I totally haven't even showed that yet. So let's do that. I was in. Let me cue that up. Autoplay is on. Yeah. So I was in Philly this last week, and I got back super late Friday night after midnight. So tired. Finally, I had switched to Eastern time, and then I had to stay up till 3 a.m. Eastern time when I got back in Portland. But it was a lot of fun. It was super, super hot that week, unfortunately. So I didn't get a lot of time outside because it was just too hot to go do much. But I did fly the drone around quite a bit, and got some fun videos to share. I was trying to, as much as most of the flying I was doing over just water, because it's obviously a lot easier to stay away from people and cars when you're just flying over water. But I did do a couple of early morning. I got up at like 7 or 8, got outside by 7 or 8 to fly when the streets were mostly empty. That way I could take like a chunk of the sidewalk and just be like, this is where I'm flying now. And straight up and down mostly. I'm not gonna go like down the street like some of the videos I've seen on YouTube, which I'm pretty sure are not allowed. But someone claimed that they were flying over the median in between the cars, and the median is like 6 feet wide, and they were like 400 feet up. And I just don't really believe that that's allowed, even though like, I guess technically it is, because you're not over the cars if you're over the median. Anyway, let's run this little clip. Because I have a couple of shots here that I put together from the flights, and it's always fun to take a look. Yeah, a lot of fun. Really like that shot with the train going down the bridge. I was just hovering there, and I was like, oh, the train, I hear the train coming by. And then I was like, oh my God, there it is. I only have like 3 seconds to get this shot. So that was fun. Yeah, super, super hot. It was, it's only 90 now, that's good. The humidity also really kills me. I cannot stand it. Cannot stand humidity, so it was just not pleasant. So yeah, early in the morning it was like around 80 still, so it was like warm but reasonable, and the sun wasn't super high out either yet. So yeah, thanks for all the thanks and the comments. Nicely done. Yeah, a lot of fun. The bridge was fun. I was trying to get as close to the bridge as I could without going over it, because again, I don't have the prop guards on the drone yet, so I technically can't fly over cars. But you can get really, really close. I mean, still, I'm sure it's like 40 feet away. It just looks really close on the video. So you can kind of like make it look like you're kind of over the road. It's fun. That's my bridge. The train is the Patco High Speed Line. Awesome. Yeah, it was, that was fun. Drones always add so much to any video. I know, and I'm just sharing just like random drone footage just for fun. But I am going to use some of that in the video I'm working on this week as, you know, B-roll proper. Like, I'm talking about drone remote ID and doing an interview with people, and I'm going to use some of that as like the transition shots for that video. So a little sneak peek of some of the shots you'll see in that video. Philip says, that's the best montage of Philly I've seen all day today. Well, thanks. Be careful, the Mini 2 is a gateway drone. I know, oh, I know. I'm okay with that, frankly. I think it's totally appropriate. Like, the point of that drone is that I wanted to get that because it's a good first drone. It's very easy to fly, and not very expensive if I crash it for some reason. And yeah, if I, you know, once I get more comfortable and with it and better at framing the shots and all that stuff. Like at some point I might upgrade, especially now that I have the license. So prop guards will limit your ability to go get high shots. Yeah, totally. They do add a little bit of weight. And I think the, yeah, for all the shots where I was way up at the limit, I actually did fly very close to 400 feet for some of those shots over the water. For those, I don't think I would necessarily care about being able to zip over the bridge for those either. So I don't mind being limited in height by using prop guards if it means I can go over cars. Still have not done any shots over cars yet because I want to get, again, make sure I'm totally confident in flying in the drone, but also I want to make sure I get the rules right because it's very specific about that. Flying over water always scares me. If the drone ditches, it's gonna, well, okay. I got confused by the words. Not reading this right, but yes, I get your point. The it's very nerve-wracking flying that high over water when you're that far out because yeah, like if something goes wrong and the drone just drops, it's gone. Like there's nothing you can do. Definitely nerve-wracking, but like I started, actually I don't even think I included any in that sequence. Oh no, maybe it was like the first, it was the first shot. Can I do this if I disable autoplay? Let me see if this works. Yeah, this shot. The I was standing down at the, like on that trail when I was filming this, and it took me a while to get comfortable with the idea of getting out even this far over the water, much less by the time I got to like this, where I was just out in the middle of nowhere flying for that one, but that was cool. This, yeah, there's that train. Let me scrub back through this shot and this one. I really wanted to get a shot of the statue, getting up really close to it. It's this was one of the early morning shots because there's a lot of people on the street normally, but this was the town hall building, and you can see it's like a square building, takes over the whole block. And I was basically standing directly under it at this point. Like that's basically where I am. I just went straight up for this one. And that meant I could keep an eye on the sidewalk and make sure that there's nobody nearby me, right? And it was barely out on the street at this time in the morning. And yeah, so I was able to get, it looks like I'm really close to it on that shot, but that's just zoomed in. It's a 4K video, so it's actually this shot zoomed in. So it looks like I'm a lot closer to it than I actually am. But that was fun. That was fun. Did I get a cheesesteak? I'm vegetarian, so I don't really understand what those are. So no, I did not. Okay. Well, that was fun. Is the new AC keeping up with a record heat wave? It is. It is extremely pleasant in here right now. It is 71 degrees Fahrenheit. And I don't even know how hot it is outside. I think it's really hot, actually. Let me see if oh, it's not too bad right now. My outside temperature sensor is registering 80 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment, which is really not bad. But it is supposed to get up to like over 100 today, which is outrageous. I think yesterday I actually only peaked at like 91 here, although we were expecting it to up to 100, but it may again today. We'll find out. And yeah, the temperature in here has been holding steady. I'm looking at the temperature graph and it's going between 70 to 73, even at the highest point in the day. Love it. Love it. It'll make all my gear much more happy being in this too. So you didn't get the Rocky Steps Art Museum, but you did get the fountain. Oh yeah, I didn't. The art museum was a little bit farther away and I didn't end up going over there in the morning when I was shooting. Yeah. Have I made a video on the licensing process? I haven't. I haven't yet. I don't think I've actually done any edited videos about drones yet. So the remote idea will be the first one, which I'm hopefully going to finish that this week. And I think I might do a video about the licensing process because it was really interesting. I've talked about it on a previous stream though. Let me see if I can find it really quick. And I can just drop a link into it. It would have been a month or more ago. Now I can't remember when that would have been. Because it was right before. I've talked about it, I think it was on some of the streams where when I was streaming from on the road, because like when I'm in New Zealand, actually maybe not that one. No, yeah, this one, I think I talked about it because I had just flown and just passed the test right before then. So I think that one I talked about it some. But I'll do a proper video about it because it is really interesting. Randy says it's only been below 102 days this month. We're at 50 days over 100. That's too many days. That is too many days. How are the restrictions? I'm not sure what restrictions you mean. I'm sorry. Oh, this was a question from a long time ago that I missed. What is a good online storage? I would like to back up my computer files. I usually, so most of my backups that I do are all are onto a NAS. So I have a NAS at home that I treat as my main archive of everything. And then NAS is not a backup itself because it is just a bunch of drives still. But that backs up to another NAS at the studio. So I actually have offsite storage backups, essentially, because they're in two different places. And then some of that, oh, that reminds me, I need to plug this back in today. So for my remote backups, I use Backblaze. And Backblaze has a pretty affordable plan for a desktop or laptop computer, which will back up any drives that are plugged in, but that doesn't back up your NAS. So for the like regular individual computer license plan, it'll only back up USB drives. And one of the big limits of Backblaze, which is a little bit frustrating, but I understand why they do it, is that if you don't back up your computer for a whole month, then they basically delete the backups. So it's meant for online backups. So like you have to plug in your computer at least once a month and have it online so that it backs up. That way they register your account as active. So if you go inactive with a drive or your account, they'll delete the backups, which is a little bit frustrating, but again, I understand why they do it. Other than that, it does work very well and I like everything else about it. And the price is very reasonable. My Mac Mini has now been off for 2 weeks because I've got it in the rack there. And I just got an email from Backblaze saying, hey, we haven't seen your drive in 14 days. You got to plug it in soon. So I need to go at least plug that on and leave it online for an hour or two to let Backblaze know that it is, in fact, still something I want. But that's my backup situation. Cool. Okay. We've been streaming for quite a while. I think we are going to, oh, some other drone comments. I guess you could fly over the Philadelphia Zoo next time you're in Philly. I'd have to double check the charts on that. I think that may not be allowed, but maybe nearby the zoo, looking at the zoo. Kevin says you can't fly over moving vehicles, even with prop guards. You need to get a 107, 145 waiver. There's some confusion regarding flight over people unless your UA is approved for category 1, 2, 3. This is why I haven't done this yet, because the rules are a little bit confusing, but there is a way to do it. Let me pull up this website. So this is what I am reading, which talks about operations over people, and the Oh yeah, also it needs remote ID. That's the other part of this. So you can't do it until remote ID exists. Category 1 are permitted to operate over people, provided that it's under 0.55 pounds, which is only the DJI Mini, and no exposed rotating parts. So you need prop guards on a DJI Mini 2. And you can only do it if it has remote ID, which again does not exist right now. So you can't do it. That's why I haven't done it. And then category 2 and 3 are for the bigger drones. And so category 2 and 3 are bigger than 0.55 pounds, but don't have the airworthiness certificate, which means it's a small drone still. And then category 2 needs remote ID. Category 3 is for big drones, basically. And you can't do it for over open air assemblies. But moving vehicles, so you have to meet the categories 1, 2, and 3, and you have to. So this is for like filming a race, right? You're like on a racetrack. Everybody in the course, signed something or saw a sign when they entered, so that they know there are drones flying around. But then for over vehicles in general, you can't do what's called sustained flight. So examples of that are if you are doing a pass over a highway and you just do one pass, that's not a sustained flight. If you go back and forth a lot, it's kind of a sustained flight. So if you're just doing one shot, you can do it. But that's the deal. But yeah, again, you have to be compliant with category 1, which you can't right now because there is no remote ID shipping yet. So that's the deal. So once that finally is out, which will be required to be flying at all in September 2023, but will be hopefully at least available for purchasing in the next couple of months, or upgrading your firmware in the next couple of months. But again, very, very, very much in flux right now. And I'm very curious to see how it goes. And I'm going to be following up with the remote ID people working on the protocols next time I'm at the next IETF meeting in November in London. So I'm crossing fingers everything goes smoothly, but I'm planning on going to that. They will probably be there also, so I'll chat with them again. But anyway, I don't want to get too much further into that because I want to get this video out so you can actually see the video I'm talking about, because it's going to be, I think it's really interesting. So that's the deal. Oh, David's reminding me that $2 per month plus $2 a month and Backblaze will increase the missing drive time to a year. It's not terrible, but normally my computers are on all the time, so it's not normally a big deal. It's just that my studio is down. Thanks, I really enjoyed the drone footage. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, yeah, we're done. I don't have an outro today. Maybe we'll just end on the drone footage. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna end with the drone footage, and we're going to end. We're gonna put my splash screen here, and then we're going to, all my batteries are out. Definitely time to end. And then we're going to tell the LiveApp to cut to the media player after the clip has completed. And that way, that's the end. So, I do have the credits. I should have the credits. This should work. Cross your fingers. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, oh, my overlay isn't working quite right. It's because it's a Luma key, and let's do that. There we go. That's better. Pre-multiplied key for the win. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the music. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for putting up with the chaotic screen. Hopefully things will be, well, things are not going back to normal. because I'm going to be somewhere else. But soon, normal. And yeah, I will leave you with the drone footage for the end, and thanks for stopping by, and see you again next week.